Stepped. The girl aside is like.
Well, they definitely look mysterious. No, you don't need a knife. All right. Chag Purim Sameach, everybody. Come grab a seat at the table. Those of you online, I hope that you have a seat at the table also. Something to eat, something to drink. Everybody come pick up your drink and nosh, whatever you're bringing with you. Come sit down. Can we just say a big thank you to all the people who made this beautiful, beautiful setup for us. I don't know who they all are. I do want to know, though. Esther with the decorations, and Kathy, and Liz, where are you? And Martha, where's Martha? I'm looking for her. Sharon, thank you all for this incredible, we have not had a Purim that looked like this before. So big round of applause for all of our folks who did this. Oh. You need a Megillah. I'm going to pass these out, make sure everybody's got one. Here we go. To Cardinal Puff for the very first time tonight. There we go. Isn't he a character in the Purim story? Right? You got the king, you got the prime minister, you got the cardinal. Cardinal Puff. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol HaYehudim, Masechot Rashanim, Smirot Rikudim, Havanarisha, Baharashanim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadol HaYehudim, Masechot Rashanim, Smirot Rikudim, Havanarisha, rush, Havanarisha, rush, Havanarisha, rush, Barashanim, Havanarisha, rush, Havanarisha, rush, Havanarisha, rush, Barashanim. You know, anybody who arrives late gets to sit at the center table. While they're doing that, I'd like to invite up all of our Megillah chanters. Anybody who's chanting, come on up, join me up here so that you'll be able to join me when we recite blessings. So come on up. Oop. Okay. We have Claire Moran and Susie Mosca and Seth Lavender. Oh, would you open up your Megillah to the very first page? We come before you, O God, with words of thanksgiving for the blessing you have been to our people Israel and to all humanity. This day brings to mind the suffering we have endured in many generations. Painful trials and bitter struggles, torments of body and soul have often been our portion, but sustained by the hope that goodness and love would triumph over evil and hate, we have overcome. Remembering the courage of Esther and the devotion of Mordecai, we give thanks for the women and men of every age who have helped to keep our people alive. We shall yet see the forces of destruction, cruel Amalek and vindictive Haman, vanish before the mighty onrush of your light and your love. And although many a bitter experience may await us before prejudice and hate disappear, still we trust that in the end, all humanity will unite in love, knowing that they are one, children of the eternal God. Amen. Thank you. Oh, once there was a wicked, wicked man, and Haman was his name, sir. He would have murdered all the Jews, though they were not to blame, sir. I got the wrong melody. Yeah. I confused that with, what is that? I confused it with the other poor melody, right? Oh. Yeah, I got to change the key for this one. Oh, once there was a wicked, wicked man, and Haman was his name, sir. He would have murdered all the Jews, though they were not to blame, sir. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be, and nosh some hamantaschen. And Esther was the lovely queen of King Ahasuerus. When Haman said he'd harm us all, oh my, how he did scare us. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be, and not some hamantaschen. Now, did you know that this is actually a British pub drinking song? That it is. It's called Landlord Fill the Flowing Bowl. I do not know the lyrics. When Esther speaking to the king of Haman's plot did mention, aha, said he, oh no he won't, I'll spoil his bad intention. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be, and not some hamantaschen. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be, and nosh some hamantaschen. Well, we'll have a bunch of people both chanting the Megillah as well as reading translations, plus some entertainment in the middle here and there. And you, guess what? You are the entertainment. Okay, so everybody come forward a little bit, and we're gonna do blessings together. If you want to see what they are, they're right there. Voila, the Megillah. Oh, and Janet, where are you, Janet? You're on deck here, yeah. Thank you, Janet. It's my gabbai tonight. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. Let's read together. We praise you, O God, sovereign of existence, who has hallowed our lives with commandments and commanded us to read this scroll. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim ha'hem bazman hazeh. We praise you, O God, sovereign of existence, who did miracles for our ancestors in those days as at this season. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'cheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. We praise you, O God, sovereign of existence, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and enabled us to celebrate this festive day. You could. No, it's the same thing. Yeah, you should use yours. Yeah. All right. Vayehi b'mei Achashverosh, hu Achashverosh, hamolech behodu vad kusheva, v'sarim umea midina, bayamim hahem, כשבט המלך אחשוורוש על כיסא מלכותו אשר בשושן הבירה בשנת 3 למלכו עשה המשתה לכל שריו ועבדיו חיל פרס ומדי הפרטמים ושרי המדינות לפניו בהרותו את עושר כבוד מלכותו ואת עיקר תפארת גדולתו ימים רבים 80 ומעט יום.
From his throne in Persia's capital city of Shushan, King Ahasuerus ruled 127 provinces, all the way from India to Ethiopia. In the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his officials and administrators. The armies of Persia and Media were present, as well as governors and noblemen of the provinces. For 6 whole months, he made a show of the riches of the imperial court with all of its splendor and majesty.
ובמלאת הימים האלה עשה המלך לכל העם הנמצאים בשושן הבירה למגדול ועד קטן משתי שיבת ים.
Would you like to translate that for us?
משתי. Yeah. משתי שיבת ימים בחצר קידת ביתן המלך חור כרפס ותכלת אחוז בחבלבות צווארגמן עגלילי כסף ועמודי שש מיטות זהב וכסף על רצפת בהת ושש ודר וסוחרת והשקות בכלי זהב וכלים מכלים שונים ויין מלכות רב קיית המלך ושתי אחדת אינו נס כי כן ייסד המלך על כל רב ביתו לעשות כרצון איש ואיש גם ושתי המלכה עשתה משתי נשים בית המלכות אשר למלך אחשוורוש.
After that, the king gave a banquet for all the people in the capital city of Shushan, rich and poor alike. It lasted for a whole week and was held in the gardens of the royal palace. The courtyard there was decorated with blue and white cotton curtains, tied by cords of fine purple linen to silver rings on marble columns.
Just like this.
Couches made of gold and silver had been placed in the courtyard, which was paved with white marble, red feldspar, shining mother of pearl, and blue turquoise. Drinks were served in gold cups, no 2 of them alike, and the king was generous with royal wine. There were no limits on the drinks. The king had given orders to the palace servants that everyone could have as much as they wanted. Meanwhile, inside the royal palace, Queen Vashti was giving a banquet for the women.
This is not a direct translation.
I'll do the Gabain for Claire. That way, if I'm at the front, I can. Okay, Claire, come on over. Yeah, come on over to this side. And there you go. And it is right.
May I have a...
Yad. Hold on.
He's talking back there.
One in every crowd. There you go.
Thank you. Where are we?
Yeah. Could you hold that open for her? Right. There we go.
There. ביום השביעי כתוב לב המלך ויין אמר לימומן בסתרבונה בקתה ואבקתה זתר וחרקס שבעת הסריסים המשריתים את בני המלך אחשוורוש להביא את ושתי המלכה לפני המלך בהתר מלכות להראות העמים והשרים את יופייה כי טובת בראי ותימהן המלכה ושתי לבוא בדבר המלך, אשר ביד הסריסים. ויקסוף המלך מאוד, והמתו בערבו.
On the seventh day of his banquet, the king was drinking and feeling happy. So he called in the 7 eunuchs, who were his personal servants, Mehuman, Bista, Charvona, Bigta, Avagta, Zethar, and Carcass. The king ordered them to bring Queen Vashti. She was a beautiful woman, and he wanted to show her off. But when the servants told Queen Vashti of the king's command, she refused to come. This made the king furious.
ויאמר המלך לחכמים יודעי העתים, כי הן דבר המלך לפני כל יודעי דת ודין, והקרוב אליו קרשנה שתר אדמת תרשיש, Meris Marsena Memulchan Shivat Sare Paras Umadai Ro'e B'nei HaMelech Hayoshvim Rishana B'malchut Kedat Mala'asot B'malka Vashti Asher lo asta et ma'amar hamelech Ahashverosh biyad hasarisim. Is it?
Now it was the king's custom to ask her expert opinion on questions of law and order, so he called for his advisors who would know what should be done. Those he most often turned to for advice were Karshena, Shatar, Admatha, Tarshish, Merish, Marsina, and Memucan, 7 officials in the kingdom. He said to these men, I, King Ahashverosh, sent my servants to Queen Vashti with a command, and she refused to obey it. What does the law say that we should do with her?
Vayomer Memulchan Lavo. Nope, that's not it. Livnei HaMelech v'Hasarim Lo al HaMelech Levado Avta Vashti HaMalka Ki al kol HaSarim ve'al kol HaAmim Asher bechol medinot hamelech Ashverosh ki etzei tevar hamalka al kol hanashim lehavzot balehen be'einehen be'amram hamelech Ahashverosh amar Levi et Vashti Amaka lefanav velava ve'ayom hazeh tamarna sarot parasumadai asher shamahu et devar Amaka Laho, sorry, Hamelech. Wait, where is it? Hamelech. Uktai bizayon vakatsev. My dog? You got it. I couldn't remember if there was more.
Then Memucan declared to the king and his officials, Queen Vashti has insulted not only the king, but also his officials. In fact, every man in the empire, every woman in the empire will start looking down on her husband as soon as she hears what the queen has done. They'll say, King Ahasuerus commanded Queen Vashti to come to him, and she refused. When the wives of the royal offices hear the queen's behavior, they will be telling their husbands about it before the day is out. Wives everywhere will have no respect for their husbands, and husbands will be angry with their wives.
About that.
About that.
Yeah.
Just
Good evening. Welcome to Shushan and Esther's official banquet. Our guests this evening are going to lead us through an official, proper hamantaschen tasting, because that's all we're serving at this particular banquet. Our two specialists, one we've heard from before, and during Sukkot, and she's coming back to us for Purim. He's telling you to take the mic from me when I'm done. And we will be passing around hamantaschen for tasting as our two specialists lead us through. Our second special guest flight leader is somebody you should know. It's the president of our congregation, and on his resume it did say that hamantaschen tasting is part of his specialty, which is why he became president of Congregation Beth Emek. So, with no further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to our leading leaders, and we're going to pass out some.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sammy, and I am your resident. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come on, come on. Did you guys know I'm a music teacher? So if you don't, this is what I do with the students. Can you hold this for a second?
Yes.
Thanks again for coming tonight. Goodbye.
So, today we have another tasting. I've led many tastings here at Beth Emek. I'm pretty good at it, so I'm just going to lead you through this one again.
Sammy, that's the wrong tasting.
So, we have these lovely tasting sheets in front of you that we'd like you to fill out if you would like to help guide you through your tasting. Oh, I need to pour something first. Okay, I can't pour and hold a mic at the same time. I'm not that talented. Well, we got to back it up. Back it up, back it up, back it up.
We've rehearsed this all week.
Back it up. This is scripted. All right, so for your tasting, the first thing you have to look at is color.
Okay, no, like Sharon said,
Which ones are we going to do first? Are we going to have to do savory or sweet first?
what kind of beer is this, Sammy?
Savory, savory. See, the first thing you got to do.
Okay, so again, we talked about this. We're doing a hamantaschen tasting tonight.
But beer.
That's how we got you in the door, and now it's too late. All right, I'm going to help try to redirect us. Sharon mentioned earlier that I'm a hamantaschen tasting expert. I think she was joking around, but some of you may know I have led hamantaschen tastings, or as they're known in France, tastings le hamantache, for almost 20 years now. And it's a multi-generational family tradition that I want to briefly speak to you about. I thought you might find it interesting to hear the origins of hamantasch tastings, the true story, or as they're known throughout Latin America, degustación haman. So I know everyone here knows hamantaschen Hamantash is an Ashkenazi Jewish triangular-filled pocket pastry associated with Purim, named after Haman. It's good, you're still getting warmed up. And also refers to a Sephardic Purim pastry thought to originate in Spain. But what of the tasting process, one of you might be asking yourself, this very moment? Can you teach me more? Well, what you may not know is that the US version of hamantasch tasting, or tashi tea as it's known on TikTok, originates from its namesake town of origin, Haman, Indiana. The U.S. hamantasch capital since 1883, even before Haman was incorporated. Raise your hand if you've heard of Haman, Indiana. You may recognize it by its non-Jewish spelling, H-A-M-M-O-N-D, but it's pronounced Haman. I understand there's a lot of Megillah and tasting to get to this evening, so without belaboring the history, you may ask, why have I never heard of Haman, Indiana, and the important origin story of American hamantasch tasting? Or you may ask, I just looked this up on my phone. What the hell are you talking about? I don't see anything on the internet, even an obscure Reddit thread. Well, that's because the secret Haman Midwest Organization of Zionist Eaters, obviously known as Shmooze, disbanded during COVID after 138 years, and I'm finally able to discuss it with you tonight. Which brings us to our first tasting.
All right, we went with savory, right? Not just beer, the cookie. Are you sure you guys don't want to do a beer tasting? Aw. All right, so we did do savory, yes? Yes? Yes, we're gonna walk you through this tasting. So I'm gonna grab a savory one.
Sure. Is that what's getting, because the different one's getting faster.
Yes. So there's 3 categories on there, and you can make little notes about each one. You could make notes about all the savory ones. You can make a column about all the sweets. This is just a guide to open you into the world of hamantaschen. So the first thing you want to look at is the color of the cookie. Is it the hamantaschen, the color of the hamantaschen? What is the color of the filling? What is do we have like a nice even coloring to it? Okay, so the first thing is color. Make some notes. Next is?
Well, next is the nose. So much like wine, you want to check the nose of the hamantash. And really the best way to do it, you have to follow my lead here. So this is the best way. It's pointed for a reason. And not only does this help you get the most nose out of the hamantash, but it's also a tribute of sorts to what life was like in Egypt. What was there a lot of in Egypt? That's right, sand. And this is a little bit like having sand in your nose. And so it's honoring our heritage and also getting the nose. You don't want to eat that corner, you want to throw that corner away. But that's the best way to get the most out of the nose. Leave the rest for the next tasting? Or?
Okay. I didn't see a lot of you guys trying the authentic way to smell the nose of your hamantaschen. You sure? Does anyone need another one? We can share corners. There's 3 on each side. Anyone want my corner? No? Okay. When you are taking your bites, you can't make your judgment until you've had 2 bites. So take a first bite. Oh, there's booger on that one. All right. And now feel how it feels on the tip of your tongue. Now, take a second bite. Now you can make a true judgment about what the taste of your hamantaschen is. 2 bites. 2 bites.
And if you haven't taken a drink yet, we have a full bar in the corner with some noteworthy, what was the name of the drink you made?
Morda Mai Tai.
Morda Mai Tai that Skylar slaved over this afternoon, pun intended. And did not spill in the kitchen. So please help yourself to drinks throughout the evening.
And if you are trying more than one savory hamantaschen, which you hope you are, and if you're smelling more than one savory hamantaschen, there are palate cleansers in front of you, the plain sparkling water. To cleanse out your mouth, take a sip. To cleanse out your nose, that's up to you. We do not have any spittoons this evening, so you are going to have to chew and swallow said hamantaschen. Yeah.
We'll be back for tasting 2.
Okay. Okay, get ready, Jay. Here we go. Here we go.
I am ready.
Chapter 2.
Page 5.
Page 5. There we go. Page 5. אחר הדברים האלה כשהוא קמת המלך אחשוורוש זכר את ושתי ואת אשר עשתה ואת אשר נגזר עליה ויאמרו נערי המלך בשרתיו יבקשו למלך נערות בתולות טובות מראה ויפקד המלך פקידים בכל מדינות מלכותו ויקבצו את כל נערה ותולה טובת מראה, ששת הבירה על בית הנשים אל יד Eliad Hege, Sris Hamelech Shemer Hanashim, Venaton Tabrukehen, Vahanara, Asher Titav Bene Hamelech, Timloch Tachat Vashti, Vaitav Hadavar Bene Hamelech, Vayaz Cain, Shudi, Haya, Bishushana Birda, Ushmo Mordechai, Bein Yair, Bet Shimi, Bet Kish. Ish Yemini, Asher, Hoklam, Yerushalayim, Im Hagolah, Asher Hoklata, Im Yechonia, HaMelech Yehuda, Asher Heklad, Nebuchadnezzar, Melech Bavel, Vayhi Omein, Et Hadassah, He Esther Batodoki, Ed Lavaim, Venarai Fator, Vitovat, Maret, Motavi Avima, Lekacha, Mordechai, Lo Levad.
Later, even after the king's anger had cooled down, he kept thinking about what Vashti had done and about his proclamation against her. So some of the king's advisors who were close to him suggested, "Why don't you make a search to find some beautiful young virgins? You can appoint officials in every province of the empire and have them bring all these beautiful young women to your harem here in Shushan, the capital city. Put them in the care of Haggai, the eunuch who is in charge of your women, and let them be given a beauty treatment. Then take the young woman you like the best and make her queen in Vashti's place." The king thought this was good advice, so he followed it.
It's good to be king.
Sure is. There in Shushan lived a Jew named Mordechai, son of Yair. He was from the tribe of Benjamin and was a descendant of Kish and Shimei. When King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon took King Jehoiachin of Judah into exile from Jerusalem, along with a group of exiles, Mordechai was among them. He had a cousin, Esther, whose Hebrew name was Hadassah. She was a beautiful young woman and had a good figure. I can picture it already. At the death of her parents, Mordechai had adopted her and brought her up as his own daughter.
Vayhi b'shama devar melech v'dato v'ikavetz narot rabot el Shoshana b'yara el yad Haggai v'tilakach Esther el beit hamelech el yad Haggai shomer anashim v'titaf hanara v'einav v'tisach esed lefanav v'yevahel et tamukev et manotel atet la v'et shevan narod hariot latet la mi beit hamelech vayishaneha vet narodeha latov beit hanashim lo yigid Esther et ama vet moladata ki Mordechai tziva leha asher lo tagid uv'chol yom vayom Mordechai mitalech lifnei chatzar beit hanashim ladat Shalom Esther Umaya Seba Uvhagiator Nara Nara Lavo Elamelech Achashverosh Miketz Heyotla.
It's here
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, it's here somewhere. Yeah, yeah. I looked over and yeah. How much have you had to drink? Hey yo, hodla, kedat hanashim shnemasar chodesh, shnemasar chodesh, ki kenyim le'u yememuru kehen shisha chodeshim b'shem enamor v'shisha chodeshim bab samim uvtamur ke hanashim uvazeh hanara ba'a elamelech et kol asher tomar inatela lavo ima mi beit hanashim ad beit hamelech ba'erev hi va'a uvaboker hi shava el beit hanashim sheni el yad shashkaz sris hamelech shomer apilak shim lo tavo od el hamelech ki im chafetz ba hamelech nikra aveshem Uvhagiator Esther bat Avichael dod Mordechai Asher lakach lo levat lavo el hamelech lo vikshad davar ki him et asher yomar Haggai sris hamelech shomer hanashim ותהי אסתר נושאת חן בעיני כל רואיה, ותלקח אסתר אל המלך אחשוורוש של בית מלכותו, בחודש העשירי, חודש טבת, בשנת 7 למלכותו.
When the king had issued his proclamation, and many young women were being brought to Shushan, Esther was among them. She too was put in the royal palace in the care of Haggai, who had charge of the harem. Haggai liked Esther, and she won his favor. He lost no time in beginning her beauty treatment of massage and special diet. I'm sure it included the hamantaschen. He gave her the best place in the harem and assigned 7 young women, especially chosen from the royal palace, to serve her. Now, on the advice of Mordecai, Esther had kept it a secret that she was Jewish. Every day, Mordecai would walk back and forth in front of the courtyard of the harem in order to find out how she was getting along and what was going to happen to her. The regular beauty treatment lasted for a year, massages with oil of myrrh for 6 months, and with oil of balsam for 6 more.
Marcy's ready.
Hey, we just had a week of that in Cancun.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for? After that, each woman would be taken to King Ahasuerus. When she went from the harem to the palace, she could wear whatever she wanted. She would go there in the evening, and the next morning she would be taken to another harem and put in the care of Ashgaz, the eunuch in charge of the king's concubines. She would not go to the king again unless he liked her enough to ask for her by name.
This is really raunchy, you know.
It's a raunchy story.
The time came for Esther to go to the king. Esther, the daughter of Avichail and the cousin of Mordecai, who had adopted her as his daughter. Esther, admired by everyone who saw her. When her turn came, she wore just what Haggai, the eunuch in charge of the harem, advised her to wear.
Say
So-
yes to the dress.
Very good. So in Ahasuerus' 7th year as king, in the 10th month, the month of Tevet, Esther was brought to King Ahasuerus in the royal palace.
ויאהב המלך את אסתר מכל הנשים, ותשחן וחסד לפניו מכל הבתולות, וישם כתר מלכות בראשה, וימליכך תחת ושתי, ויעש המלך משתה גדול, לכל שריו ועבדיו, את משתה אסתר, והנחה למדינות עשה, וייתן מסד כי יד המלך, וביקבץ בתולות שנית, ומרדכי יושב בשער המלך, אין אסתר, מגדת מולדתה ותמה, כאשר ציווה עליה מרדכי ואת מאמר מרדכי אסתר עשה, כאשר הייתה אומנה איתו.
The king liked her more than any of the other women, and more than any of the others, she won his favor and affection. He placed the royal crown on her head and made her queen in place of Vashti. Then the king gave a great banquet in Esther's honor and invited all his officials and administrators.
And us?
And us.
We're here.
He proclaimed a holiday for the whole empire and distributed gifts worthy of a king. Kind of makes sense, yeah. Meanwhile, Mordecai had been appointed by the king to an administrative position. As for Esther, she had still not let it be known that she was Jewish. Mordecai had told her not to tell anyone, and she obeyed him in this, just as she had obeyed him when she was a little girl. under his care.
בימים ההם, ומרדכי יושב בשער המלך, קצב בקתן ותרש לסריסי המלך משומרי הסף, ויבקשו לשלוח יד במלך אחשוורוש, ויוודע הדבר למרדכי, ויגד לאסתר המלכה, ותאמר אסתר למלך בשם מרדכי, ויבוקש הדבר, וימצא, ויתלו שניהם על עץ. ויכתב בספר דברי הימים לפני המלך.
During the time that Mordecai held office in the palace, Bigtan and Teresh, 2 of the palace eunuchs who guarded the entrance to the king's rooms, became hostile to King Ahasuerus and plotted to assassinate him. Mordecai learned about it and told Queen Esther, who then told the king what Mordecai had found out. There was an investigation, and it was discovered that the report was true. So both men were hanged on the gallows. The king ordered an account of this to be written down in the official records of the empire.
Well, let's hear what we've got next on our tasting menu.
Well, the rabbi took the words right out of my mouth. So, welcome back, our tasters.
Oh, thank you.
What category do we have next?
Up next, we have the mystery category. Ooh.
So there's only one mystery.
I'm going to grab a mystery. I'm going to help you taste this mystery one as well.
It has
Yeah.
Well, there's the end of the mystery.
So nuts. Another tip for tasting. You must release the tannins.
Please no. See, we talked about you need to swirl, not twirl. There we go. Okay, excellent. That's the second step. A couple of administrative points before I try. Eventually, we are going to ask you to vote on the pink slips that you have in front of you for your winning selection. Now, there's only one mystery, so Sharon wins. But the winners will get these golden groggers. Sorry, you interrupted the ooh and ah that I was queuing up? Oh, okay, well, good, but it's still a golden grogger. Thank you, good. A functional golden grogger. All right, are we passing out the second mystery tray? Okay. So Sharon's has green in it. It is not Soylent Green. We got that representation from her.
Who's done the nose correctly on this one?
Does anyone want to demonstrate? No? Okay. Are we going to each try this as well? So you're welcome to guess what you think it is made out of, but in writing now, since there's two, we want to...
Well, we very nicely introduced you to all the different ways for you to taste your hamantaschen last round. So go through your checklist. What was the nose of this? What is the color of your hamantaschen? What are the tastes? You can write down the notes to help you. Listening. Oh, yes. Listening. Does anyone remember where hamantaschen come from? Who remembers? From Indiana, right? Okay, from Indiana. Do you know where Hammond, Indiana is near? Gary, Indiana. So, if
affection for Gary
yeah.
here in California.
If you want to truly experience it and know if the hamantaschen is real, you can hold it up to your ear, and just like a seashell, you make it hear the Great Lakes, whisperings of Michael Jackson, or Gary, Indiana. You guys already sang it. So if your hamantaschen is real, you can hear it in your ear.
That's the right place to hear it, in your ear. Okay, I'm going to try this one. Oh. Raise your hand if you think you know what's the secret ingredient in Sharon's hamantash. All right. Flour is the answer for all of them, right? Okay. What do you think the secret ingredient is in Sharon's hamantash? Halva. Diechis? I have to look that up.
What else do we have? What if I told you you're both right?
We'll check in with you in 30 minutes. 60 minutes.
My hair. Okay. Okay, what else do we have? We have... Yeah, is this... Liz is passing.
This is the kind of full service that Liz provides. She doesn't just pass it out. She is cutting up individual portions to make sure that everyone gets a bite. That is thorough.
All right, other than the delicious drugs that we all ate in Sharon's, what else do we think is in there? Pistachio. Sharon, do we have a pistachio one? Okay, what else? Halva. Flour. Any love. I think there's love in there. Sharon, is there love in your hamantaschen? Sweat? Tears? That's the salt.
All right.
Ooh. Ooh. All right, please notice, I'm really curious what you guys wrote for your hamantaschen color on this one. Anyone want to share what they... Rainbow? Rainbow? Anyone else write rainbow?
Tie-dye.
Tie-dye? Did someone say unicorn poop?
Unicorn fart sprinkles.
Unicorn fart sprinkles.
That's that smell.
That's what the nose is. The nose, if you know.
Play-Doh. Play-Doh is edible. Paste.
Oh,
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
Okay, so after this, after more Megillah fun, we will have several sweets to pass around. There are about 6 entrants, and we'll pick 2 or 3. Please have some sparkling water to cleanse your palate, and look forward to us giving you some, or booze, and we'll walk you through mouthfeel for our third tasting. Oh, grow up.
All right. Rena, you ready? Okay, here we go.
It's always ready.
Chapter 3.
Page 8.
Page 8.
Page 8. Chapter 3.
אחר הדברים האלה כשוחמט. Wrong place, right?
Not yet. He started in the wrong spot.
Yeah, wrong.
But almost.
אחר הדברים האלה גידל המלך אחשוורוש את המן בן המדת הגגי וינשאו וישם את כיסו מעל כל השרים אשר איתו וכל עבדי המלך אשר בשער המלך קוראים ומשתחווים להמן. Oh, that was so slow. כי כן ציווה לו המלך, ומרדכי לא יכרע ולא ישתחווה, ויאמרו עבדי המלך אשר בשער המלך למרדכי, מדוע אתה עובר את מצוות המלך? ויהי קורבנם אליו יום ויום, ולא שמע עליהם, ויגידו להמן. לראות יעמדו דברי מרדכי, כי גיד להם אשר הוא יהודי, וירא המן, כי אין מרדכי קורא ומשתחווה לו, ויאמר להמן, חמה, ויבז בעיניו לשלוח יד במרדכי לבדו, כי גידו לו את עם מרדכי, ויבקש המן. That's offsides. ויבקש המן להשמיד את כל היהודים אשר בכל מלכות אחשוורוש עם מרדכי.
Sometime later, King Ahasuerus promoted a man named Haman to the position of prime minister. Haman was the son of Hammedatha, a descendant of Agag.
This is really getting into the booing here.
They're also convicted by genetics, right? The king ordered all the officials in his service to show their respect for Haman. How much here? By kneeling and bowing to him. They all did so except for Mordecai, who refused to do it. The other officials in the royal service asked him why he was disobeying the king's command. Day after day, they urged him to give in, but he would not listen to them. I am a Jew. I'm a Jew too, he explained, and I cannot bow to Haman. So they told Haman about this, wondering if he would tolerate Mordecai's conduct. Haman was furious when he realized that Mordecai was not going to kneel and bow to him. Probably furious that we named this pastry after him too. When he learned that Mordecai was a Jew, he decided to do more than punish Mordecai alone. He made plans to kill every Jew in the whole Persian Empire.
Susie? Yeah, switch places. There we go. Okay. Oh, and your yad, yes, the yad. You know what, Rena, would you hold that open for her, please? Thank you. And right there.
בחודש הראשון הוא חודש ניסן, בשנת 12 למלך אחשוורוש הפיל פור, הוא הגרל לבני המן. מיום ליום ומחודש לחודש 12 הוא חודש אדר, ויאמר המן למלך אחשוורוש ישנו עם אחד, מפורד ומפורד בין העמים בכל מדינות מלכותך, ודתיהם שונות מכל עם, ואת דתי המלך אינם עושים, ולמלך אין שווה להניחם. אם על המלך טוב ייכתב לעבדם, בעשרת הלווים כיכר כסף, אשכול על ידי עושה המלאכה, להביא אל גנזי המלך. ויסר המלך את טבעתו מעל ידו, ותתנה להמן בן אין המדעתה הגגי זורר היהודים, ויאמר המלך להמן, הכסף נתון לך, והעם לעשות בוקר טוב בעיניך.
In the 12th year of King Ahasuerus' rule, in the first month, the month of Nisan, Haman ordered lots to be cast, Purim they were called, to find out the right day and month to carry out his plot. The 13th day of the 12th month, month of Adar, was decided on. So Haman told the king, there is a certain race of people scattered all over the empire and found in every province. They observe customs that are not like those of any other people. Moreover, they do not obey the laws of the empire, so it is not in your best interests to tolerate them. If it please your majesty, issue a decree that they are to be put to death. If you do, I guarantee that you will be able to put 375 tons of silver into the royal treasury for the administration of the empire. That's good for the budget. The king took off his ring and gave it to the enemy of the Jewish people. Haman son of Hammedatha and descendant of Agag. The king told him, "The people and their money are yours. Do as you like with them."
Thank you, Rena. Now, in keeping with the theme of hamantaschen, I thought I would share this very famous song about hamantaschen, well known by Bob Marley. Jamin, I wanna cook with you. Jamin, Jamin, I hope you like jamin too. Rolling out the dough, cut the circles so, pinch the corners up too. Now we must decide what to put inside. Here's what we're gonna do. Put some jam in, poppy seed and apricot too. Some jam in, jam in, jam in, jam in. I hope you like jamming too. We're jamming, 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 jamming. Hope you like some jamming too. We're jamming, 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 we're jamming. Baking hamantaschen with you. We're jamming. All right. Thanks to my former temple president, Noah Nesson, who came up with that. All right. Page 9. Page 9. Chapter 4. There we go. Yeah. Umordechai yadad kol asher nasa vayikra Mordechai et begadav vayilbash sak vayefer vayitzei betoch ha'ir vayizak zak hagadolah umara vayavo ad lifnei shar hamelech ki ein lavo el shar hamelech bilvushach Uvchol medina umedina makom asher davar melech v'dato magia evel gadol ayudim b'tzom uvchi umisped sak va'efer yutzal arabim v'tavo na'arot ester v'sarisa v'yagidu la v'tilchal hamalka me'od v'tishlach begadim lehalbish et Mordechai ulhasir sako me'alav v'lo kibel Vatikra Esther lahatach misarisei hamelech asher amid lefaneha vatitzavehu al Mordechai ladat mazeh al mazeh.
When Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes in anguish. Then he dressed in sackcloth, covered his head with ashes, and went through the city, wailing loudly and bitterly, until he came to the entrance of the palace. He did not go in because, as it turns out, no one wearing sackcloth was allowed inside. Throughout all the provinces, wherever the king's proclamation was made known, there was great mourning among the Jews. They fasted, wept, wailed, and most of them, following the viral trend, put on sackcloth and lay in ashes. When Esther's servant women and eunuchs told her what Mordecai was doing, she was deeply disturbed. She sent Mordecai some clothes to put on instead of the sackcloth because her phone was still charging. But he would not accept them. Then she called Hatach, one of the palace eunuchs appointed as her servant by the king, and told him to go to Mordecai and find out what was happening and why.
Don't you hate those dress codes?
Vayitze Hatach el Mordechai el Rechov ha'ir asher lifnei shar hamelech vayagid lo Mordechai eit kol asher karahu ve'eit parashat hakesef asher amar Haman. לשקול על גיצי המלך ביהודים לעבדם ואת פתשגן כתב הדעת אשר ניתן בשושת להשביתם נתן לו לראות את אסתר ולהגיד לה ולצוות עליה לבוא אל המלך להתחנן לו ולבקש מלפניו עלמה.
Hatach went to Mordecai in the city square at the entrance of the palace. Mordecai told him everything that had happened to him and just how much money Haman had promised to put into the royal treasury if all the Jews were killed. He gave Hatach a copy of the proclamation that had been issued in Shushan, ordering the destruction of the Jews. Mordecai asked him to take it to Esther, explain the situation to her, and have her go and plead with the king and beg him to have mercy on her people.
ויבוא התך ויגד לאסתר את דברי מרדכי ותאמר אסתר להתך ותצווהו אל מרדכי כל עבדי המלך ומדינות המלך יודעים אשר כל איש ואישה אשר יבוא אל המלך אל החצר הפנימית אשר לא יקרא החטאתו להעמיד לבד מאשר יושיט לו המלך את שרביט הזהב וחייו אני לא נקראתי לבוא אל המלך זה 30 יום ויגידו למרדכי את דברי אסתר ויאמר מרדכי להשיב אל אסתר אל תדמי בנפשך להימלט בית המלך בכל היהודים כי אם החרש תקרישי בעת הזאת רווח והצלה יעמוד ליהודים ממקום אחר ואת ובית אביך תאבדו ומי יודע אם לעת כזאת הגעת למלכות.
Hatach did this, and Esther gave him this message to take back to Mordecai. If anyone, man or woman, goes to the inner courtyard and sees the king without being summoned, that person must die. That is the law. Everyone from the king's advisors to the people in the provinces knows that. There is only one way to get around this law. If the king holds out his golden scepter to someone, then that person's life is spared. But it has been a month since the king sent for me. When Mordecai received Esther's message, he sent her this warning. Don't imagine that you are safer than any other Jew just because you are in the royal palace. If you keep quiet at a time like this, help will come from heaven to the Jews, and they will be saved, but you will die, and your father's family will come to an end. Yet who knows? Maybe it was for a time like this that you were made queen.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Max. We're going right to you, Marcy. Come on up. Yeah. I know. I can't do Lisa's part for her. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Sure.
What is that? Oh my God.
You'll find out soon enough.
We're on page 11.
Do chanting first?
No, go for it. Go right for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, excuse
Sorry.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. On the third day of her fast, Esther put on her royal robes and went and stood in the inner courtyard of the palace, facing the throne room. The king was inside, seated on the royal throne, facing the entrance. When the king saw Queen Esther standing outside, she won his favor, and he held out
Oi.
to her the gold scepter. Then she came and touched the tip of it. Boing! Sorry about that. Yes, okay, well, we'll just have that. What? Yes, yes, it is. What is it, Queen Esther? The king asked. Tell me what you want, and you shall have it. Yeah, what you really, really want. Even if it is half my empire. Esther replied, if it please your majesty, I would like you and Haman to be my guest tonight at the banquet that I am preparing for you. The king then ordered Haman to come quickly so that they could be Esther's guests. So the king and Haman went to Esther's banquet. Over the wine, the king asked her, "Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and you shall have it. I will grant your request, even if you ask for half my empire." Esther replied, "If your majesty is kind enough to grant my request, I would like you and Haman to be my guest tomorrow at another banquet, and I will prepare it for you. At that time, I will tell you what I want." She wasn't. Okay. When Haman left the banquet, he was happy and in a good mood. But then he saw Mordecai at the entrance of the palace. And when Mordecai did not rise or show any sign of respect as he passed, Haman was furious with him. But he controlled himself and went on home. Then he invited his friends to his house and asked his wife Zeresh to join them. He boasted to them how rich he was, how many sons he had, how the king had promoted him to high office, and how much more important he was than any of the king's other officials. What is more, Haman went on, "Queen Esther gave a banquet for no one but the king and me, and we are invited back tomorrow. But none of this means a thing to me as long as I see that Jew Mordecai sitting at the entrance of the palace." So his wife and all his friends suggested, "Why didn't you have a gallows built, 75 feet tall? Tomorrow morning you can ask the king to have Mordecai hanged on it, and then you could go to the banquet happy." Haman thought this was a good idea, and he had the gallows built.
We invite our specialists in tasting of hamantaschen back to the floor, and we're going to be passing out our final tasting. Passing out? No, if you had too much alcohol, you'll pass out. Distributing. And following this round of tasting, we hope that you'll vote so we can, in fact, hand out the official, very expensive, not in the budget, golden groggers.
Let's all give Marcy a round for Purim After Dark. Marcy and the One-Eyed Serpent.
I don't know. I think Haman had a thing for like tall Jews, yeah? If the gallows are 75 feet tall, I'm safe. I'm only 4'8".
I think they raised it after you're attached to it.
Speak for yourself. All right, we've got a lot to taste here. And just a reminder, there is no spittoon tonight. So whatever you put in your mouth, you must swallow. Yeah, no one likes spitting. No.
There's a whole other plate of mystery that we didn't see before. These are the humble ones, right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they were extra. Okay.
Oh! Where's my slide whistle? Wah, 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 wah. This is the extra one. All right.
Seconds on the mystery.
So, when you are doing this, your sweet hamantaschen tasting, there are many varietals of the sweet hamantaschen. So it's important to note your mouthfeel. We have not discussed the way that it feels in your mouth as you chew and swallow as discussed, all right? So notice if there are different textures between your hamantaschen. Is this one soft? Is this one crunchy? Is this one chewy?
Yeah, are you going to say it? No, she missed it.
I bet.
You said soft.
And so the key when you have the hamantaschen in your mouth is to really think about how it feels. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit dry as hamantaschen, I can't help that. But this is a way to taste it. Don't do this and the smell at the same time because you're going to pass out, because you're going to run out of air. This is all the material that I have, Skylar.
Sticky.
Okay, Sammy, it's enough.
Who thought that they'd eat at least one hamantaschen tonight? Who thought they'd be eating like 12 hamantaschen tonight? Anybody want to share some of the notes that they've jotted down with their guided tasting? Anyone have? What? Lots? You want lots? That's a touchy subject here. Yeah. Yeah. Nice and Had anyone had a unicorn farts hamantaschen before tonight? All right, now that you've tasted a variety of hamantaschen, who has changed their preference on flavoring? Does anyone prefer a savory hamantaschen now? Any? Who changed your opinion on slavery? No, those. I hope we're still all against slavery. Who liked the mystery kind of sweet savory combination one? Who is a tried and true sweet person? Who likes them sweet still? They're dessert as they should be. Yep. I don't know. I like the savory ones.
While you're noshing, I want to call out the names of all of our intrepid bakers because these were all made from scratch and all very creatively. So Esther, Hannah, Rena, Carrie, Kathy, Janice, the Milders, and Lisa and Erilyn. If you could give them a big round of applause for all of these wonderful hamantaschen. For me, it's usually Kirkland or bust, so this was really very special.
Kirkland.
lost without that the rest of tonight.
Okay, Janet, you ready?
Oh, we're done.
Here we go.
Remember, guys, this is an election and every vote counts. Your vote matters, okay?
Some more than others.
Some more than others. To be determined. Where are they putting their ballots? Do we have a ballot box?
You can put your ballot, we'll come by and collect them.
This is great. If you keep
Or do we put
eating,
them in
I could blow right through all the Hamans.
I'll come by and collect them.
Please make sure your vote matters. You matter.
Okay, we're on page, let me just see here. We are on page 12. Page 12, Esther chapter 6.
Ready?
Balailahu, nadada, shenad, hamelech, vayomer, lahavi et sefer zichronot divrei hayamim, vayu nikraim lifnei hamelech, וימצא כתוב אשר הגיד מרדכי על בגתנה ותרש שני סריסי המלך משומרי הסף אשר ביקשו לשלוח יד במלך אחשוורוש. ויאמר המלך מה נעשה היקר וגדולה למרדכי על זה ויאמרו נערי המלך בשרתיו לא נעשה עמו דבר. ויאמר המלך מי וחצר והמן. That was very fast. Yeah. והמן בא לחצר בית המלך הכי צונה לאמור למלך לתלות את מרדכי על העץ אשר הכין לו. ויאמרו נערי המלך אליו הנה המן עומד בחצר, ויאמר המלך יבוא, ויבוא המן. ויאמר לו המלך מה לעשות באיש אשר המלך חפץ ביקרו, ויאמר המן בליבו למי יקפוץ המלך למי יקפוץ המלך לעשות יקר יותר ממני. ויאמר המן אל המלך איש אשר המלך חפץ ביקרו יביאו לבוש מלכות אשר לבש בו המלך וסוס אשר רכב עליו המלך ואשר ניתן כתר מלכות בראשו ונתון הלבוש והסוס. על יד איש ושרי המלך הפרטמים והלבישו את האיש אשר המלך חפץ ביקרו והרכבו על הסוס ברחוב העיר וקראו לפניו ככה יעשה לאיש אשר המלך חפץ ביקרו ויאמר המלך להמן. I got that wrong. ויאמר המלך להמן מהר קח את הלבוש ואת הסוס כאשר דיברת ועשה כן למרדכי היהודי היושב בשער המלך אל תפה אל דבר מכל אשר דיברת.
That same night, the king could not get to sleep, so he had the official records of the empire brought and read to him. Now there's a snoozer. The part they read included the account of how Mordecai had uncovered the plot to assassinate him. Yeah, the plot made by Bigtana and Teresh, the two palace eunuchs who had guarded the king's rooms. The king asked, "Have we honored and rewarded Mordecai for this?" His servants answered, "Nothing's been done for him." "Are any of my officials in the palace?" the king asked. Now, Haman had just entered the courtyard. He had come to ask the king to have Mordecai hung on the gallows. I don't like hanged, it's hung on the gallows. That was ready. No,
And-
it's hanged, I know, I know.
And where are you on the Oxford comma?
I believe in it strongly, because you know how long my sentences go. Yeah. Where was I? Hanged on the gallows that was now ready. So the servants answered, Haman is here, waiting to see you. Show him in, says the king. So Haman came in. And the king said to him, there is someone I wish very Who could the king want to honor so much? Me, of course. So he answered the king, have royal robes brought for this man, robes that you yourself would wear. Have a royal ornament put on your own horse. And then have, coconuts, dear. You need the coconuts.
I didn't bring the coconuts.
Then have one of your highest noblemen dress the man in these robes and lead him mounted on the horse through the city square. Have the noblemen announce as they go,
See how the king. Sorry, I was getting carried away.
It's my line. See how the king rewards someone he wishes to honor. Then the king said to Haman, hurry and get these robes and the horse and provide these honors for Mordecai the Jew. Do everything for him that you have suggested. You will find him sitting at the entrance of the palace. That's all I get to read.
I said,
Oh,
what
man.
can I say, It's a cliffhanger. Okay. Yep. Okay. No,
Did I
go
actually
right
get
for
this?
no.
Oh,
go
you
right
think, I
for
thought
it,
you
yeah.
only said one part. And so the king went to eat with Esther for a second time. Over the wine, the king asked her again, now, Queen Esther, what do you want? Tell me, and you shall have it. That's right. I'll even give you half the empire. Queen Esther answered, if it please your majesty to grant my humble request, my wish is that I may live and that my people may live. My people and I have been sold for slaughter. If it were nothing more serious than being sold into slavery, I would have kept quiet and not bothered you about it. But we're about to be destroyed, exterminated. Then King Ahasuerus asked Queen Esther, who dares to do such a thing? Where is this man? Esther answered, our enemy, our persecutor, is this evil man, Haman. And Haman cringed.
Boo.
And Haman
Boo.
cringed in terror before the king and the queen. The king got up in a fury, left the room, and went outside to the palace gardens. Haman
Boo.
could see that the king was determined to punish him for this. So he stayed behind to beg Queen Esther for his life. He had just thrown himself down on Esther's couch to beg for mercy when the king came back into the room from the gardens. Seeing this, the king cried out, does he mean to ravish the queen in my own palace? The king no sooner said this than Haman's face was covered.
Oh, you're doing
I'm on, yeah. Oh, you know what, Janet, would you stand on this side, hold that side open? That way,
I can do that.
yeah. And we're right there. There we go.
Bayom hahu Natan hamelech Ahasuerus Esther hamalka et Beit Haman Sarer haYehudim uMordechai ba lifnei hamelech ki higida Esther mahula Vayasar hamelech et avato asher he'evir mehaman. Hayitna le Mordechai, vatasem Esther, et Mordechai al Beit Haman. Vatosef Esther, vadaber lifnei hamelech, vatifo lifnei raglav, vatchanen lo, lehe'evir et ra'at Haman. Hagagi, et mehashavto asher hashav al haYehudim, vayoshet hamelech leEsther. Eight sharbit hazahav, vatosef Esther, vatakom Esther, v'ta'amod lifnei hamelech, vatomer im al hamelech tov, ve'im matzati hein lefanav, asher hadavar lifnei hamelech, v'tova ani be'enav, v'katev, v'hashiv et hasfarim, v'hashevet Haman ben Hamdata Hagagi Asher Katav Va'aved et HaYehudim Asher Bechol Medinot Hamelech.
That same day, King Ahasuerus gave Queen Esther all the property of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. Esther told the king that Mordecai was related to her, and from then on, Mordecai was allowed to enter the king's palace. The king took off his ring with his seal on it, which he had taken back from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. Esther put Mordecai in charge of Haman's property. Then Esther spoke to the king again, throwing herself at his feet and crying. She begged him to do something to stop the evil plot that Haman, the descendant of Agag, had made against the Jews. The king held out the gold scepter to her. Wink, wink, say no more. So she stood up and said, "If it please your majesty, and if you care about me, and if it seems right to you, please issue a proclamation to keep Haman's orders from being carried out, those orders that the son of Hamantaschen, the descendant of Agag, gave for the destruction of all the Jews in the empire."
ומרדכי יצא מלפני המלך, ולבוש בחוט תכלת וחור, ועטרת זהב גדולה. ותחריך בוץ וארגמן, והעיר שושן צוהלה ושמחה. ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה, וששון ויקר.
Mordecai left the palace wearing royal robes of blue and white, a cloak of fine purple linen, and a magnificent gold crown. Then the streets of Shushan rang with cheers and joyful shouts. For the Jews there was joy and relief, happiness, and a sense of victory.
Yeah.
If you voted, please hold up your ballots so we can collect them for counting.
Hold on a second. Let's see. Here you go. Okay. Sharon, would you hold that side open, please? Thank you. And it is, what do you say? Vayichtov, right? There it is. Okay. Yeah.
ויקטור מרדכי את הדברים האלה, וישלח ספרים אל כל היהודים, אשר בכל מדינות המלך אחשוורוש, הקרובים והרחוקים, לקיים עליהם להיות עושים את יום 14 לחודש אדר בעת. יום 15 בו בכל שנה ושנה, כימים אשר נחו בהם היהודים מאויביהם בחודש, אשר נהפך להם מיגון לשמחה ומהבל ליום טוב, לעשות אותם ימי משתה ושמחה, ומשלוח מנות איש לרעהו ומתנות לאביונים, וקיבל היהודים את אשר החלו לעשות בעת אשר כתב מרדכי עליהם.
Mordecai had these events written down and sent letters to all the Jews near and far throughout the Persian Empire, telling them to observe the 14th and 15th days of Adar as holidays every year. These were the days on which the Jews had rid themselves of their enemies. This was a month that had been turned from a time of grief and despair into a time of joy and happiness. They were told to observe these days with feasts and parties, giving gifts of food to one another and to the poor. So the Jews followed Mordecai's instructions, and the celebration became an annual custom.
Ki Haman Ben Hamadata Hagagi Zorer Kol HaYehudim Chashav Al HaYehudim Le'abedam V'hi Bilpor Hu Hagaral Le'humahum U'labedam U'bavawa Livnei HaMelech Amar Im HaSefer Yashuv Machashavto Hara Asher Chashav Al HaYehudim Al Rosho V'talu Oto V'et Benav Al Ha'etz Al Kain Karahu Layamim Ha'ele Purim Al Shem HaPur Al Kain Al Kol Divrei Ha'igeret Hazot Umara'u Akacha Umahigia Alehem Kiyamu V'kiyablu HaYehudim Alehem Ba'azaraham Ve'al Kol HaNiyavim Alehem Ve'lo Yavor Liyot Husim Shnei hayamim ha'ele kichtavam b'chizmanam b'chol shana v'shana v'hayamim ha'ele nizkarim v'nasim b'kol dor v'dor mishpacha u'mishpacha medina u'medina v'hir v'hir v'imei ha'purim ha'ele lo yavru mitoch ha'yehudim v'ziroham lo yasuv mizaram.
Haman, son of Hamadata, the descendant of Agag and the enemy of the Jewish people, had cast lots, Purim they are called, to determine the day for destroying the Jews. He had planned to wipe them out, but Esther went to the king, brave Esther, yes, and the king issued written orders with the result that Haman suffered the fate that he had planned for the Jews. He and his sons were hung from the gallows. That is why the holidays are called Purim. Because of Mordecai's letter, I wonder what font he used, and because of all that had happened to them. The Jews made it a rule for themselves, their descendants, and anyone who might become a Jew, that at the proper time each year, these 2 days would be regularly observed according to Mordecai's instructions. It was resolved that every Jewish family of every future generation in every province and every city should remember and observe the days of Purim for all the time to come.
V'tiktov Esther Hamaka, Vatavikail, Umarakai Hayudi, Et Kotokef, the Kayem, Et Igeret Hapurim, Hazod Hashenit, Vaishlak Safarim, El Gohayudim, El Sheva, Basrim Umeha, Medina, Mahut, Akashverosh, Divrei Shalom, Vahemed, Lekayem, Et Yemei, Hapurim Haele, Bizmanehem, Kasher, Kiyam Alehem, Mordecai Hayudi, Vester Hamacha, Vakasher, Kiyamul Nafsham, Vahazaram, Divrei Hatzamod, Vazachatam, Ma'amar Esther, Kiyam, Divrei Hapurim Ha'ele, V'niktav, Ba'sefer.
Then Queen Esther, the daughter of Avichail, along with Mordecai, also wrote a letter, again, what font, putting her full authority behind the letter about Purim, which Mordecai had written earlier. The letter was addressed to all the Jews, and copies were sent to all the provinces of the Persian Empire. It wished the Jews peace and security and directed them and their descendants to observe the day of Purim at the proper time. Just as they had adopted rules for the observance of fasts and times of mourning, this was commanded by both Mordecai and Queen Esther. Esther's command confirming the rules of Purim was written down on a scroll.
I love that part.
Yeah, I do
That's
too.
really cool.
And what font is that?
All right. So all the people who chanted from the Megillah, come on up so that you can join me for closing blessings.
We want to have everybody stay seated after we're going to announce the golden.
Oh, of course. Of course. Okay.
Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Right. Vayasem Hamelech Achashverosh Mas Al Haaretz V'yeh Hayam V'chol Masei Takbo Gvurato Parashat Kedulat Mordechai Asher Gidlo Hamelech Eloheim Ketuvim Al Sefer Divrei Hayamim L'Malchei Madai Faras Ki Mordechai Hayudi Mishnet LaMelech Achashverosh V'gadol LaYudim V'ratzui L'rov Echav Dorish Tov Le'amo Dorish Tov Le'amo V'dover Shalom L'chol Zaro.
King Ahasuerus imposed forced labor on the people of the coastal regions of his empire, as well as those of the interior. All the great and wonderful things he did, as well as the whole story of how he promoted Mordecai to high office, are recorded in the official records of the kings of Persia and Media. See the board notes for details. Mordecai, the Jew, was second in rank only to King Ahasuerus himself. He was honored and well-liked by his fellow Jews. He worked for the good of his people and for the security of all their descendants.
All right, come on up. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam haram et riveinu v'adan et dineinu v'hanokem et nikmatenu v'mishalem gemul lechol oivei nafshenu v'nifra lanu mikol tzareinu Baruch atah Adonai hanifra Lamo Yisrael Mikol Tzarehem Ha'el HaMoshiach. Together, praised are you, O God of life, whose will it is to end all strife, whose word still hallows Israel's soul, who bade us read Queen Esther's scroll. Because her courage and her will gives us strength of spirit still, strengthen us to keep your ways and help us live to sing your praise. And before we hear the winning entries, thank you all to all of our Baalei Kriya, our Megillah chanters who chant so beautifully, so excellently. It's great to chant so much of the Megillah. Okay, let's find out.
We're still working on counting the ballots. There's no objecting to the election results. I'll get that out of the way now. I have a request on behalf of the events committee. If everyone could please clear their place settings and put them into the trash, that would be really helpful. And if you are physically able to take your chair and hang it up on the rack, this way we don't have to pay overtime to the events committee. There we go, an inclusive, caring community. Are we close on the ballots? Ooh, our 2 ballot counters are on their way. It's not till the annual meeting, Simon. Queen Esther.
Say what?
All right. Well, that was a stressful counting. I'm a music teacher, right? I only count to 4. And yeah, but 6/8 is 1, 2, 1, 2. Even 12/8 is just to 4. The numbers are high, but the counting is low. It's past my bedtime. Yeah, the numbers went higher for 4 for most of these. It was really close. We'll start with our mystery flavor, our 2 entries. Let us review them. One was rainbow Play-Doh, as some people put it, or unicorn fart things. And then the other one was our pistachio halva. Can I have a drum roll, please? It is the halva. All right. Our savory was also really close between the ones that we had. Pizza, the onion one was very contested. Was it onion? Was it cabbage? Was it? It was cabbage, and then mushroom. So we did a drum roll. Can we have a trumpet horn for this one? Rocket horn. All right. The savory winner is the mushroom. The builders. And the sweet. Man, there are a lot of you guys. And the votes were very spread out. I understand why we, have to. There's so many, and they were all so delicious. So before we do our final sweet end-all be-all of cavities, we have some lovely treats for all of our bakers. Can we have another round of applause for all the bakers tonight? Thank you so much. Our Esther, we'll pass it out to Esther, and yeah, we've got some envelopes to all of our amazing bakers tonight. Thank you for participating, and thank you, everyone who just had to loosen a belt loop, grab some floss, need to schedule a new visit with your dentist. Thank you guys all for participating in our first ever hamantaschen tasting. We hope you enjoyed it.
And after we announce, we'd like everybody who baked to come up and stand behind here so we can get a picture.
And bonus points if you you know what? We have enough left. We have one more competition we should do. How many hamantaschen can you fit in your mouth? Oh, you don't like that one? What about, what's the age-old tale of who can whistle while chewing on a hamantaschen? Any takers in that? Yeah. All right, and our sweet winner, give me a drum roll and a foot roll and a hand roll and a head roll, the Banana Foster. Thank you all again for making this the liveliest Monday night I've had in a really long time. Please clear your plates, your chair, my plate if you can, and eat. You did not eat enough tonight. I watched some of you. You only shoved it up your nose, so make sure you eat it too.